So, turning out to be right. Again, scenario one was an extended dip on both AMC and GME. On GMEs, you got that after earnings, 20% drop. AMC right now is doing exactly that, all the way to our level that we talked about previously, which was going to be a break into the low fours before we made our move up to 8 in our super macro POI in October. So you guys have been now spoon-fed the entire algorithmic sequence all the way from the first week of August. And let's go by order of events so no one's confused. The first week of August, you were told on both Twitter, on both YouTube, that we were going to get some kind of extended dip. Most likely that was scenario one. I gave you a few scenarios of how it would play out. And then we would have our first rip going into the beginning of September. When we got to the end of August, which was our macro POI on August 27th, and they gave us a dip on both stocks, which are 10 to 13%, but it didn't extend. That showed an extension in the macro POI was going to be snubbed until your next macro POI window, which was the first week of October, which is also your super macro POI window. Super macro POIs take a longer period of time. Micro POIs happen on a day. Macro POIs can take up to 2 weeks. Super macro POIs can take up to 4 weeks, maybe 5. So you're entering that larger window where more volume is siphoned off dark pools into the NYSE to pump these stocks and bull shares, and you will probably see trades come through on the options chain because a lot of hedge funds have this figured out as well. This is hedge fund grade information. I will be starting my hedge fund this year, okay? Once I register with the SEC, you will no longer see videos from me about meme stocks on YouTube and Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I'll be posting some more educational things, but me telling you guys exactly where these squeezes are going and giving you the insights to my proprietary trading strategies will never happen again. So this is going to be a short-lived Nick Pantano route on the meme stock conglomerate, but you guys know when the next major super macro POI is. I'm not gonna tell you specifically which ones are happening in between now and December 2025, but your next main big one, meaning the one on the giga macro, is December 2025. Okay, so you're gonna get your fake MOAS top or beginning around that time within roughly a 2-month window. Okay, these vehicles are incredibly dangerous, and a lot of people have this idea that they want to get rich trading them, and that's great, but it's much more sinister than you think. And this is why scenario one was so important. It was so important to let you guys know that when you see an extended period of accumulation, especially on a meme stock, it doesn't blast to the upside. It distributes to the downside majority more likely than not, okay? And it's what I wanted to warn you about. I'm very happy scenario one's playing out because on AMC, on GME, you already got your dip. You guys should have bought that. Calls out to November, December. No one in the Discord is anything earlier than November 1st. So all the way out that, cover the entire super macro POI. The fact that I'm telling you on the super macro POI is $100 million information. There's no one else on the planet that is telling you this information. There are 1 or 2 kids I saw on Twitter that have a general idea of when the window is, but they don't know to the day, they don't know to the week, and they damn sure don't know to the hour, okay? Which is one of the reasons why we know Roinkit is a plant, because he always tweets to the hour on every single micro POI. So you guys, again, appreciate it. I want you to know that AMC is probably still not finished distributing here. End of September, the 26th, tomorrow. You have a micro POI on the 27th, so that can bleed in within a day. The 26th, tomorrow, Adam Aaron has a conference that he's speaking at, right? So use a little common sense. I bet you that micro POI plays inverse, right? So that could be the end of your distribution, and then you make your move to 8. That's a massive move, guys. You go $4.10 to $8. You're talking 90%. How much you're gonna make on your option? 1,000% at a minimum. You're welcome. The people that say, oh, well, you had a chart that, was showing that we were going to run in September and we didn't. That's correct. I showed you how the run would play out based off September's macro POI window and its micro POI days in between. If it doesn't play out that way, then you go to the next window and the next window and the next window. but they don't happen every month, and that's what people aren't really understanding. They're thinking like you can market makers can kick the can every single window, but the windows don't happen like on a consistent basis within like the same time frame. It's not like it happens every 4 weeks. It's not that simple. It's different every time. Each window is a different size and a different shape and a different speed, and the micros are different, and the news and narrative is different. And remember, incredibly important, they can only kick the can so far until they reach that super macro POI, and it is in that moment where the narrative is strongest for the general economy as well as the meme basket, in which it has to make a violent decision to the up or downside. And it does every single time. The last super macro POI was May. The one before that was October 2023. And you all know where we've gone since October 2023's bottom. So we're getting to that period in time where there is no more kicking the can. And I hope you guys remember that. It's really important. So I'm showing you the POIs and how they would play out based off that window. And if they don't play in that window, that's completely fine. We didn't buy for just that window. We don't do that. We learned this game 2 years ago. We figured out and cracked it and how it works. So we buy 3 months out, 4 months out. We don't play this let's guess it to the week game, because that's what market makers want you to do. And they want to take all your money in the meantime. You got to be smarter than that. You got to be smarter than that. Okay? I mean, like in 3 years, if you haven't learned that market makers purposefully move the goalpost on you and delay in order to make you lose as much money as possible, if you don't know that by now, it's like, my man, you've been living under a rock a bit. Like, you make me a little... It's frightening to know that, you know, I don't even want to say the word, like, you call yourself adults, but you watch the same price action happen for 3 years straight and you don't know how it works. It's weird. It's weird. I don't understand why I have to repeat myself so many times to quote unquote adults that are 30 plus years old. It's just very worrying. So market makers are going to move the goalpost as many times as they can through the entire macro and micro POI sequencing windows, so they can make as much money as they can off of people like you that don't understand how the sequence timing works on the repeating algorithmic fractal. Okay? I figure out when the goalpost is moved and where to. I tell you where the micro and macro POIs are, and super macro, which is coming up, and most important, you're welcome. They can delay over and over and over again until the super macro POI. It's the furthest they can delay, okay? This is hedge fund grade information. You're getting it for free. Be grateful. I will not be here much longer. I hope we get our dip on AMC, the micro, in the next 2 days. Hopefully it plays inverse. Saw the news event on Adam Aron's conference. You get your dip to 410. That's scenario one. And then you run into your super macro POI in October, okay? No one's buying October 4th expiration. No one's buying October 11th expiration. Go out to November 15th. Don't be a fucking dodo brain, all right? I didn't get out the spoon today, but I probably will when we run. I want to let you guys know that the people that have supported me have been nothing short of amazing. Incredibly mature, incredibly helpful, incredibly kind. I mean, 95% of you, I would love to meet in real life. I would love. Have a beer, hang out, give you a fucking hug, whatever. Because this has been a battle between a cult community that is completely delusional and lives in fantasy land, where they believe that, you know, if you hold shares of a stock, it's going to send it to $100,000 price target. You set the price. Shorts have to cover at the price we demand. You guys have no idea what you're talking about. You have no conception of how Wall Street works, how the world works. You still think that, you know, there's a Democratic and Republican Party and they're going against each other. You don't understand that there's one world agenda, and the only agenda is to monopolize all institutions, custodians, asset managers, all the banks, etc., etc., etc. And all this is leading to that. The meme basket is not what you think it is. There is no retail beat Wall Street. It doesn't exist. It never did. They had complete control of the entire GameStop squeeze the entire way. That liquidity came into GameStop and AMC before the Jan and June 2021 runs 5 years before. So at a bare minimum, 5 years in advance, not 5 months, 5 years, those squeezes were planned. They were planned, okay? Institutions had full control. Billions and billions of dollars came into those squeezes, numbers that retail couldn't fucking touch if we tried to coordinate it. Would never happen, can never happen, will never happen, especially not after fucking COVID when everyone's getting killed with, all the amounts of debt that they were in during that period in time. So listen, I want you guys to know that there's a lot of people that are just never going to learn how this game works. And the people that have, that have been listening, that I'm very proud of you. Because 3 years of data, you can see billions of dollars of both shares and calls come in on the retail side. 55% buys to 45% sells, 60% buys to 40% sells. Every single day, and the stock has dropped. AMC dropped 99%. It's going to be 99.9% soon. And GME has dropped 93%, which is going to be 99 probably percent soon as well. And on the other side, you have this, small group of just very, very good people that actually want to know how the system works. They want to know how to change it. They want to know how to trade against it. They want to do whatever they can to better their families. These are middle-class people, normal people that got their butts kicked during this entire 99% sell-off, and they want their money back. All of us do. Because this whole thing was a scam from the beginning. The entire thing was one gigantic narrative lie. The meme basket is not what you think it is. It is a mechanism that was configured, developed 20 years ago, okay? During the 2001, 2008 financial crisis. They figured this out then and planned it back then in order to have it play out now the way it is playing out with quantitative easing, the way it's playing out now with the inverted yield curve. You are literally going to be exit liquidity if you do not start taking profit on these moves. And I'm only going to get through to a few million people. The rest are going to get killed. So I hope I reach as many as I can. But if you guys do not start taking profit on these pre-planned, systemic, repeating algorithmic moves, you are going to be exit liquidity for institutions. And frankly, no one's going to feel bad for you because you were warned many, many times, many, many years in advance by people that have actually worked on Wall Street and actually know how the game works. These things are not like something you can come up and then just change the global economy overnight. There's so many moving parts and pieces. So people, especially with Japan, so people want to know how these things work. And that small group are the people I'm talking to when I make my videos. I don't talk to the people that, live in their mom's basement and throw fucking stones and just can't be nice about anything to save their lives. You really are a nasty group of people. You're really just not good people at all. So I'm here for the good ones, and we'll always be here for the good ones. Any questions? Again, I appreciate the support. The naysayer kids, they're always going to be here. I'm the only person on the entirety of the platform to go from $0 to $2 million on AMC in 2 years flat after I lost my entire life savings to it. I'm the only person to do it. So full respect is a necessity on my platform, okay? I lost everything that I had to this algorithm and figured out how it works, and I'm now telling you for free. But that window of free is about to end because I made too much money. Okay, it's time for me to level up. You guys can level up too. I will generally be here for you moving forward, but telling you AMC scenario 1 is gonna dip and then you're gonna rip. You're not gonna get that from me. Not anymore. Things are getting too serious. Okay. I love you. I appreciate you. I will speak to you guys soon as we enter our super macro POI into mid-October.